Hi and welcome to iTutor Online. Today what I'll be going through is chapter 1I, so looking at income, and this is from the Year 9 Cambridge textbook. So essentially what I'll be going through is explaining some of the concepts and also going through some of the questions and trying to make sure that you understand all there is to do with income. Okay, so let's begin. Firstly, we're going to be looking at some of these key ideas. So, workers who earn a wage, for example, a casual waiter, are paid a fixed rate per hour. Hours outside the normal working hours, for example, public holidays, are paid at a higher rate, and this is called overtime. So, this can occur in a couple of common ways. So, we have time and a half, which is 1.5 times the usual hourly rate. We also have double time, okay, and this is pay is twice the usual hourly rate, okay. So workers who earn a salary, okay, are paid a fixed amount per year, say $95,000. So if we want to see how much they get paid per week, we can divide it by 52, okay. So that's the annual salary. We can divide it by 52 to find their weekly wage, okay. So just remember, these are just the main bits of information that we need to know. So let's jump into some of the questions from the chapter. So for some of these, I'm just going to be explaining to you how to work them out and the theory behind them, and some of them I'll do them completely. All right. So looking at question 1, an employee has an annual salary of $47,424 and works 38 hours a week. Find the average earnings per month. All right. So what we know, this is how much they get per year. So essentially, oops, sorry, let me just zoom in a little bit. There we go. So we know that they get $47,424 per annum, okay, or per year. That's their annual salary. If we want to find how much they make per month, we simply divide it by 12. The reason why is because there is 12 months in a year, and then we can get the monthly salary. So get your calculator out. So you got 47,424 divided by 12. So we get $3,952 per month. Say if I want to find how much they make per week now, I have their annual salary, which is 47,424, and I divide it by the amount of weeks in a year. So we have 52 weeks in a year. And essentially just put that in your calculator. So 47,424 divided by 52, and then you get $912. So that's how much they make per week. So now we want to see how much they make per hour. So how do we find that? Well, we know that the employee makes $912 per week. All right, and they work 38 hours per week. So essentially, all we need to do is 912 divided by 38, because then we'll get the amount of money per hour, right? So you just divide 912 by 38, and you get $24 per hour. All right, so it's very important to know how to work those out. So looking at question 2, a shop assistant is paid $11.40 per hour. Calculate the assistant's earnings from the following hours worked. So if they work 7 hours, that's pretty straightforward, right? We just times it by 7 and you get your answer. 5.5 is exactly the same thing. We're just timesing it 11.4 times 5.5. So now we have question C, 4 hours at twice the hourly rate. So looking at double time. So essentially we have, this is our normal rate. So we have $11.40. And because it's double time, we times it by 2, and then we times it by 4, because it's 4 hours at double time. Okay, so you just chuck that in your calculator, you get your answer there. Now, if we're looking at time and a half, you have $11.40 times 6 hours times 1.5, and then you get your answer. So essentially, that's how you work those out. You just put these in your calculator. If you want me to go through them, or more examples, such as question 2, just let me know. So now looking at question 3, find the commission earned on the given sales figures if the percentage commission is 20%. So essentially, what is commission? All right, so it's a common practice where in sales, so for example, a real estate agent, they usually get a very low weekly wage, and the way they make most of the money is through commission. So essentially, they look at how much sales they make and they give them a certain commission based on the amount of sales. So if I made $1,000 worth of sales, how much will I make if the commission is 20%, right? So essentially just timesing it by 20%. And don't forget to put the 20% in your calculator. So just don't times it by 20, times it by 20%. So 0.2. So there we have $200. And that's essentially that. So that's how we find the commission, all right? So for each of these, we just timesing by 20%. All right? So that's how you can work out question 3. So now looking at question 4. Find the net weekly income given the following payslip. So what do we have? We have earnings, all right? So earnings is looking at how much we actually get. We have leave loading, all right? So if you're unsure what leave loading is, essentially what it is during times such as public holidays or over the New Year's, employers, they give their employees a little bit extra money to get them to work, okay? Because the boss wants to go on holidays and enjoy his riches, right? So what he does is he gives leave loading. So it's a little bit extra money, so the employee is willing to work during the holiday, right? So essentially, that's what you get added to your weekly earning, okay? So essentially, if you're looking at your income, we have 2037.25. There's a 7 there. And now we need to add 356.52. So when we add those two together, that's just going to tell us how much money he has coming to him. All right, so 2037.25 plus 356.52, and we see he gets 2,393.77. All right, so that you can think about as his gross income. All right, we need to find the net income. So what that involves is taking out all these deductions. So all the things where his money goes to. So we know he pays tax. So we got a minus $562. We got a minus the union. We got a minus the social club and the health insurance, right? So from the 2,393.77 cents, we need to minus all of these. So minus and minus 5 and minus 148. So if I did this correctly, it's $1,663. And there you have it. So just think of the net as the money you get after all the deductions. Tax is a deduction, union fees is a deduction. So what essentially union fees are is if you work in certain industries, such as if you're a nurse, nurses pay they have a union that protects them. So in case there's a dispute regarding the work, the union helps them out. So that's why they pay the fees to make sure that they're a member of the union, okay, and to keep it running. So that's deduction. And then you have your social club and health insurance. Okie dokie. So that's for question 4. So looking at question 5, calculate the hourly rate of pay for a 38-hour working week with an annual salary of these amounts, right? So we know I'll do one, and then the other ones are pretty much the same. So you have $38,532, and that's per annum. So we want to find how much it is per week. We divide it by 52. So get your calculator out and do 38,532 and dividing by 52. So we'll get $741, and that's per week. So if we want to find the hourly rate, we just got to divide by the amount of hours they work in the week, right? So we divide it by 38, and that is $19.50. So essentially, if you have your annual salary, you just divide it by 52, okay? And that's your weekly salary, and then you divide it by the amount of hours you work in a week. And that's how you do for question II, and this one here as well. So now looking at question B, calculate the yearly income of someone who earns that much per hour and in a week's works on average 24 hours. So now we want to go backwards. We first times, so we got $24 $9.20 times 24 hours. So that's how much per week, and then times it by 52, and that gives us per year. All right, so you just got to times all of those together. So 24.2 times it by 24, and then by 52, and you get 30,201.6. And that's how you do II and triple I. Okay, so you just times it by the amount of hours they work, and then times it by the amount of weeks in a year, so 52. So now looking at question 6. So Mary earns $800 per week. Calculate her holiday pay for 4 weeks, including leave loading. So what we want to do is, firstly, we want to find how much she normally makes in 4 weeks. So if she makes $800 per week, we times it by 4, right? So 800 times it by 4, and you have $3,200 in 4 weeks, right? So we also know she gets holiday loading, right? So that's 17.5%. So essentially, we need to find what 17.5% is of 3,200. And this is going to show our leave loading. All right, so think about leave loading as an extra bit of money that an employee gets. So now what we've got to do is do 3,200 times 0.175, and you get there $560. Okie dokie. So now we want to find how much she's going to be getting paid, right? So she normally gets 3,200, and now we need to add the $560. Okie dokie. And that is from the leave loading. So that $560 is the extra that she makes. So you add those two together, so 3,200, and you get $3,760. And it's easy as that. So that's how you do question 6. So now looking at question 7, a job has a normal hourly rate of $9.20 per hour. Calculate the pay including overtime for the hours worked. So looking at question 7a, all right. So we've got 3 hours and 4 hours at time and a half. So what you first need to do is find how much they make normally. So there's $9.20, and you times it by the 3 hours. So that's how much normally you get. And then you got to add. So don't forget add, and I'll do it in red. Don't forget to add. And you have 4 times that time and a half. 4 hours, sorry. So you got 4 times $9.20 times 1.5. And you just chuck it in your calculator, and that's it. Okay, so that's how you do question 7. Yeah, so finding the normal plus the overtime. Same thing for question C. We've got 14 hours normal, so 14 times 9.20, and then I'm going to write it in red, plus the overtime. So 3 hours at double time, so 3 times 2 times 9.20. Okie dokie. So that's how you do this. And the same thing for all of them. So even for this one, you're going to have a plus between those two and a plus when you add the double time, as well as the time and a half. So just don't forget, do it all separately. And also remember, working out. All right, you can't do this without working out. You have to write it all down, otherwise you're going to get confused. Looking at question 8, so calculate how many hours at the standard hourly rate the following hours are equivalent to. So we have 3 hours, so we have 3 hours plus 2 hours at double time. So we have 2 hours at double time, which is going to be 3 plus 4, and that's going to become 7. That's all that means, okay, at how many hours. So if you're working double time, it's like you're getting money for twice the time. Yeah, so if you work 1 hour at double time, it's like you work 2 hours, and that's what we want to find. Same thing with question C. So we got 15 hours plus 12 hours at time and a half. So you have 12 times 1.5. Okay, and that's going to be 3/2. So just if you want to, so 18 plus 15, and then you got 1, 1, 3, and 3. All right, 33 hours. You can just chuck that in your calculator. I just did it quickly in my head. But yeah, chuck it in your calculator, get your answer. That's it. All right, don't forget, in the middle, you add. So don't forget, in the middle, you add and add. Okie dokie. So don't make that mistake. All right, so I hope that's clarified question 8. So it's essentially the same thing. So let's see where we're up to. Alrightios. So looking at question 9. So Jim is a part-time gardener, earns that much dollars per week if he worked 12 hours during normal working hours and 4 hours at time and a half. What was his hourly rate of pay? So now this becomes a bit of an equation, right? So we know, and I'm going to do it here. So I hope that's okay. We're going to be just doing the working out here. So he gets $261 per week. And we know he gets 12 hours during normal working hours. So we're going to have 12 times, and I'm going to put time. So T for time. Actually, no, sorry, oops. I was going to put an X. So I'm going to label it as Y, okay? So think about Y equaling hourly rate. Yeah? So that's 12 times Y or 12Y. Okay, so same thing. This is just the times. Okay, so times Y or 12Y. So Y is the hourly rate. So that's the 12 hours working normal working hours, and then 4 hours at time and a half. So we're going to have plus 4 times 1.5 times Y. Okay, because remember you have 4 times 1.5 hours, 1.5 times the hourly rate. And that'll equals $261. So now on this side, you got 12Y plus, and then here you got 4 times 1.5. Okay, so if you're unsure, just chuck it in your calculator. You're going to get the 6. It's going to become 6Y. So when you add those together, it becomes 18Y, because 12 plus 6 is 18, and that equals 261. And all that's left is you just divide it by 18 on both sides, and Y equals 261 divided by 18, and you get $14.5 per hour. Okay, so that's essentially how you do question 9. All right, so Y was the hourly rate, so 12 times Y plus 4 times 1.5 times Y, because that's your overtime for 4 hours. And then you times 4 times 1.5 gives you 6, you add it to 12 gives you 18, and then you divide it to get your hourly rate. So I'm going to rub this out, so if you want to copy that, pause the video, otherwise I'm just going to quickly rub it out. Okie dokie. So now looking at question 10. Sally earned $329.40 in a week if she worked 10 hours during the week and 6 hours on Saturday at time and a half and 4 hours at Sunday double time. What was her hourly rate? So Y equals, again, hourly rate. And if you like, we can pause the video and before I go through the working out, you can have a go at doing this question. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to follow the steps. So you have $329.40, okay? And that equals, so we have 10 hours during the week. So we have 10Y, which is the normal pay. And then you've got 6 hours at time and a half. So plus 6 times 1.5 times Y. And then we need to add 4 hours at double time. So you got 4 times 2 times Y. Okay, because Y means for all of these, hourly rate. So now we need to collect the like terms, but first let's fix those up. So 10Y plus, and then you have 6 times 1.5, which is going to be 9Y, and plus 8Y. So when you add all those together, you're going to have 10 plus 9 plus 8, which is going to be 27. 27Y, and that's going to equal 329.4. And the last step is to divide it by 27. Okay, so cross it out. Y is going to equal this divided by 27. So you got 229.4 divided by 27, and that gives you 12.2. Okay, so that's how you can do question 10. Okay, so looking now at question 11. So Amy works at Best Bookshop during 1 week. She sells books valued at $800. If she earns $450 per week plus 5% commission, how much does she earn in a week, right? So let's see what we have. We get $450 per week, okay, and then we get a commission, right? So the commission is 5%, and she sells books worth of $800. So we're going to add the commission of $800, right? So times it by 5%, and bingo, you're going to have your answer, right? So you have 800 times 5%. So 800, sorry, times 0.05, and you're going to add 450 bucks, and that's $490 that she makes, okay? So that's a weekly, and that's extra commission. Okay, so now looking at question 12, Jason works for a caravan company. If he sells that much worth of caravans in a month and earns that much month, and 4% of the commission of the sales, how much does he earn that month? So same thing, 650 plus 4% times, and then 84,000. And you just chuck that in your calculator, and there's your answer, okay? So just don't forget you're adding, all right? So add the commission and so on, okay? Don't forget that. So let's look at this. So find the net income we've done is before, so you're just basically taking these away. Percentage of gross income paid in tax. So you're going to have your tax divided by your gross income times 100, okay? So that one looks pretty straightforward, okay, because we've done it above. Okay, so I'm just going to pick a couple let's just see where we're up to. I'm just going to pick a couple more of these last ones. So let's say I'm going to pick question 18 and 19, okay? And if you want me to do any of the other ones specifically, just let me know. But I just want you to get the hang of doing income from this textbook before we go into any other questions. So I'll do question 18 at the bottom here. So Mel is taking a holiday. So she receives $2,937.50. This includes normal pay and 12.5% holiday leave loading. How much is the leave loading, right? So she earns $2,937.50. Yeah, and essentially that is going to represent 117% of her pay, right? So in that amount there, we have 100%, and that's going to include her normal pay. And then you're going to add the 17.5% from the leave loading. All right, so that's why that equals 117.5%. So if we want to find the leave loading, we need to find 17.5%. So now we've got to use the unitary method. Okay, so if you're unsure what the unitary method is, just let me know so I can make you another video on unitary method. But it's very important to know how to do it. So essentially, we know that that amount is going to equal 117.5%. We need to find how much 1% is, right? So we got to divide both sides by 117.5. Okay, so that's going to, so if we divide that by 117.5, it's going to become 1%. So I'm going to do it up here. So if I divide this number here, so 2,937.5, and I divide that by 117.5, I'm going to get 25 bucks, right? So 1% equals $25. Now I need to find how much 17.5% is. So I times both sides by 17.5. Okay, so 17.5% is going to equal, and we times 25 by 17.5, $437.50. And there you go. Okay, so the reason why this equaled 100, and I'll do this in red, okay? So red is like my thinking. So the reason why this equaled 117.5% is because we have 100% of the normal pay plus 17.5% of the holiday loading. Together, that's 117.5%. So now, we need to divide it by that number and to find what 1% is, and then times it by 17.5 to get what the holiday loading is. And there you go. So that's how you can do that question. So pause the video if you want to copy this down. Otherwise, I'm going to finish up with question 19. So looking at question 19. So Mike delivers the local newspaper. He's paid $30 to deliver 500 newspapers. How much is he paid for each one? So we know $30 equal, sorry, it's in red. I don't like writing in red. We'll get blue. So $30 equals 500 newspapers. If I want to find how much he gets for one, I divide both sides by 500, and that tells me how much one newspaper is. So you got $30. So $30 divided by 500, and that's $0.06. Okie dokie. So that's how you can do that question there. Okay, so I'll wrap it up there, and what I'll do, I'll attach a little bit of some questions from this Year 11 textbook to really test you on income and calculating wages and so on. Okay, so I hope that has been helpful. So thank you.